In the slide 65, so two questions regarding the syntax about the NA1 up 1 with NA2 up 2 at 0. So number one, is this too strong assumption that there is no correlation with a negative effect before treatment and negative effect after treatment?
Yeah.
And second, regarding the syntax, if we see the slide number 64, you're defining use variable command as NA1, NA2, up 1, up 2. Now, in the syntax 65, NA1, 2, up 1 is used. With a NA2 / up 2 is used. That means NA2 up 1 with NA2 up 1 up 2 at 0, right? That's what you defined in the syntax.
So what I'm doing here is, yes, I say I want to use those 4 variables.
Right.
I make lagged versions of those.
Right.
These are specified at the within person level, so they are sent, and then I'm centering them per person. These will also be centered per person, but that's part of the latent decomposition. And then I'm saying this, and then here I have those regressions, and then I'm saying this to make sure that, so if we have NA1, I don't want Mplus to try to compute a correlation with NA2 because you're either in phase 1 or you're in phase 2. So if I have a score on NA1, I have a missing on NA2. And that's also true for NA1 with up 2. So that one is also fixed to 0. And then up 1 with NA2 and up 2 with up 2. Sorry, up 1 with up 2.
Because there is slash between NA1 and up 1. In the use variable command in the 64, NA2 is in between NA1 and up 1. And up 1 is in between NA2 and up 2. So,
This is the use of the dash? Is that
right. And you use the dash command in 65,
here? Yeah,
right?
Yeah. Oh, here. Ah. I don't know. Yeah, I would have to check that. Yes, thank you. Yes. Oh, I see your point.
You're right that the list function refers to the use variable statement. So.
Can I just add on the creating the time variables that there is a built-in function R for changing from a date variable to hours like you did? It's part of the tidyverse package. If someone is
what's it called?
Tidyverse. It's a large package of packages. Yeah. But you can do it easily there.
No problem.
All right. Other questions, or are you getting hungry?
Here, got one here.
So on page 72, the slide at the within person level, can you explain a little bit more why the item PA1 to PA10 are also lagged? So aren't the state positive affect are estimated by the item just measured at the same time point?
Yes, yes.
Why do
so
we need
this
to
is, I mean, this is basically saying a lot of things at the same time. So what I'm saying, with the by statement, I'm saying there is a latent variable, SPA, that is measured by these indicators. But I'm also at the same time saying, I want you to create a lagged version of this latent variable. And that's with this part here. So it's this, like it's not, the n%1 is between brackets here. So it's not referring to those indicators, it's referring to this part here. Does that answer your question? Yeah? Right. Yeah. So the relationship between the indicators and the latent variable is at lag 0. Yeah.
Just to follow up about the ESM and the time. So when those are often done on semi-random intervals, so someone's at 10:30, someone's at 10:45, are you rounding those off so that they're hour spacing or something like that?
Yeah, so what I did was I had hours since the beginning, but that was not, it had decimals. What is it? If it doesn't have decimals, it's integer. It was not an integer variable. So I didn't round it in advance. I just had this continuous variable. So it's in the scale of hours since the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to say, okay, I want to use a grid of 1 hour. And that means that Mplus will then round it to hours, to 1 hour like intervals. And I know that Tiomir will say more about it, and then Bengt will say more about it. Like sometimes you might have multiple observations that fall within the same interval, and then Mplus will do some stuff with this, you know, to make sure that you get them in different intervals. And if it happens too often, you get a warning that like you might have to use another grid, like another interval to look at.
So the variable itself can have decimals, but then the interval...
Yes, the time, yes. Because before, of course, we had day, then it was just an integer, but it doesn't have to be. Yeah.